Good evening and welcome to a brand new edition of our daily news program, coming up shortly. At the invitation of the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, partakes in the G7 summit. On the sidelines of his participation, the head of state meets several heads of state in his residency in Bari and holds discussions with both leaders. Ahead of the upcoming presidential elections, the registration operation in electoral lists at the Algerian General Consulate in Paris continues smoothly, with facilitations allowing our nationals to accomplish their national duty freely. Welcome back. Today's beginning is from Bari, Italy, where the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, alongside other world leaders, is taking part in the G7 summit. The roundup of the activities of the head of state with Laetitia Sidqawi.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, took part today in the G7 summit with its member states, namely the United States of America, the United Kingdom, France, Japan, Germany, Italy, and Canada, in addition to other world leaders. Many current international issues are on the agenda, along with climate change, AI, and the situation in the Middle East. Bari's summit especially tackled the importance of investing in basic infrastructure in Africa and means to support developing countries to face various issues such as illegal immigration. On this occasion, the head of state took a family photo with the participants in the Group of 7 summit held in Bari. Ahead of the kickoff of the proceedings of this summit, the President of the Republic held bilateral talks with world leaders taking part in Italy's summit, in addition to heads of international organizations. The President exchanged views and positions on current international issues of common interest, notably development to create new opportunities. Upon his arrival to Borgo Egnazia Tourist Complex to take part in the G7 summit, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, was received by the Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni. On the sidelines of his participation in the same summit, the President of the Republic received at his residence in Bari, Italy, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. Worth mentioning that Algeria and Kenya are bound by promising bilateral cooperation in many fields, characterized by constant consultations and coordination. The President of the Republic additionally received the Mauritanian President, Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani. The head of state also received the President of the European Council, Charles Michel.
In other news, and in view of the large number of our nationals who flock to Algeria's General Consulate in France, especially during this period of registration in electoral lists, the consular services have developed a system capable of facilitating and simplifying registration processes. Report by Afaf Belhouchet, taken up by Ines Kilo.
With over than 155,000 registers spread over 7 departments, it's one of the largest consular post offices in the world, and yet the atmosphere here is calm, an image that contrasts with that of the General Consulate in Paris in the past, which is usually immersed on the eve of the summer season. For months now, these teams led by the General Consulate have been on duty in the most remote departments. This long-term work has transformed the consular services into a real celebration of Algerian reunions.
This is the 3rd time that the General Council and all the consulate staff are touring the region. We are very proud of it. Thank you so much for coming all the way to Orléans. It makes things so much easier for us.
But this is not the only secret behind the warm welcome offered to our nationals. The measures to facilitate travel to Algeria decided by the President of the Republic have largely contributed to this, also facilitating the work of the Consular Corps, which has a very important mission to ensure the smooth running of the elections next September, starting with information on how to register on the electoral rolls.
Pour les ressortissants qui sont déjà inscrits sur la liste électorale,
For nationals who are already registered on the electoral rolls, they are invited to contact the General Consulate in order to update their information. For a change of address, they can do it online via our website or by email, so they have many possibilities.
Envoyer un formulaire sur notre site internet ou bien par courrier. Donc ils ont trois possibilités.
I am here and I will be here to accomplish my duty as an Algerian living abroad.
The Consulate General has launched an information campaign via its website and through an administrative poster, while all agents have been trained to respond to any organizational questions and inform our community. While registrations are underway, one of the most targeted age groups is that of voters casting their ballot for the first time.
If
this person turns 18 on polling day on September the 7th, he or she will be entitled to register on the electoral rolls.
All the information needed to register on the electoral rolls is available on all consulates' websites, and it should be noted that only Algerians registered on the electoral rolls can benefit from this right.
And in accordance with the President of the Republic's guidelines and in coordination with the Grand Mosque of Paris, a rich program was devoted for the Algerian elderly settled abroad to enjoy their vacation and discover the country. After visiting several provinces, they have now reached Zerada, where a festive atmosphere prevails. Report by Majda Jahmoun, taken up by Melissa Kabash.
Few days before the summer season, the Sable d'Or Hotel surely ensured a great atmosphere with a rich program devoted to serve its visitors.
We
are happy to be here in our Algeria. We thank President Tebboune.
On le remercie vraiment. On est bien content d'être là.
We are so happy to be here in our country. We thank everyone. We had such a warm welcome in Serif, Shlef, Oran, Tlemcen, and here as well.
Tlemcen, ici, à Sable d'Or.
C'est un vrai plaisir d'être là.
It is such a pleasure to be here. It is a very important initiative for the benefit of the Algerian community, especially for the retirees, as it allows them to keep ties with their homeland.
Garder le lien avec le pays.
L'accueil qui est chaleureux, Oran.
We received a warm welcome in Oran, Tlemcen, and here. Honestly, this is great.
Et j'espère que ça recommencera. Comme ça, on va revenir encore dans notre pays.
On est content, heureux.
We are very happy. I wish a blessed Eid for all Algerians.
Tous les Algériens et Algériennes.
An initiative taken by the Grand Mosque of Paris to allow the elderly to spend the night at vacation and the youth as well, thanks to another initiative dedicated to them.
Aujourd'hui se réaliser l'œuvre de l'Algérie nouvelle.
We are now witnessing the emergence of the new Algeria. The Grand Mosque of Paris is delighted under the aegis of the President Tebboune to launch this initiative, knowing that we were backed by the authorities as well, including the Ministry of Tourism and that of Transport, as they facilitated the entire operation. Today, their dreams have come true, and with God's will, this initiative will be followed others, inshallah.
Aujourd'hui, on a réalisé le rêve de ses aînés, Inch'Allah.
Une autre initiative, une autre...
It is worth recalling that another initiative will be launched for the benefit of no less than 2,000 young people, hoping for them to enjoy the different planned activities to help them discover Algeria.
Concocté pour plus de 2000 jeunes qui vont effectivement, pour certains, découvrir l'Algérie.
It was indeed an opportunity to enjoy the season, but above all, to discover the gorgeous beauty of our vast homeland Algeria.
As Muslims around the world are getting ready to celebrate the Eid al-Adha feast, the genocidal campaign of the Zionist occupier has continued through 9 months of devastating bombardments. Over the last 24 hours alone, new atrocities in Rafah have claimed around 30 lives and injured hundreds. This morning, the occupation forces completely destroyed the warehouse of the NGO Handicap International in Rafah, obliterating all humanitarian and medical supplies. Melissa Kebash with more.
Indifferent to the United Nations resolutions and all calls launched demanding an immediate ceasefire, the Zionist war machinery continues its horrendous attacks against the Gaza Strip. After more than 250 days, the inhuman crimes are still ongoing. Over the past 24 hours, new massacres were perpetrated in Rafah, claiming the lives of numerous citizens and hundreds wounded. According to the latest horrible figures, the Zionist army have murdered nearly 15,700 children, while the remaining 17,000 are now orphans. I want the bombardment to stop. I want a normal life like the other children in the world, go to school and to make my dreams a reality. Our correspondent, Wissam Abu Zaid, continues his courageous mission and is still reporting the latest updates on the tragic situation in the Palestinian territories. A terrible one, especially that crossing points are now blocked and humanitarian aid are denied access. Already deprived from the basic needs, namely water, food and shelter, the occupier is now destroying hospitals' electric generators with an aim to deprive those in need of any medical care.
The situation is terrible. My daughter is suffering and is sick. We are now waiting for border points to open.
Humanitarian organizations are now the main target of the Zionist war machinery. This morning, it was a UN warehouse for the handicapped located in Rafah that was completely uprooted. A true genocide that keeps wreaking havoc and more innocent lives in broad daylight of the international community.
To sports now, the 30th and last week of the National Football Championship allowed CR Belouizdad to rank second and snatch a berth in the African Champions League next year after beating GS Saura with 2-1, while ES Benaklu joined US Souf in the second division following their 1-0 defeat versus MC Al Bayed. And we wrap up our news with this unforgettable scene marking the celebration of Perugia of Algiers after receiving the trophy of the National Football Championship. Congratulations for Amsia and good luck notably in the continental competitions. Thank you for your attention. See you next week.
الشامبيون سيكون أو سيحمل الدرع بعد لحظات. أيوب عبد اللاوي يستلمه من يدي رئيس الاتحاد الجزائري كبطل للدوري في موسم مدكار، محفورة في ذاكرة كل مشجع مولودية الجزائر. مبروك هنيئا لمولودية الجزائر بهذا التتويج بعد ما لقب عن جدارة الاستقلال يستحق مولودية الجزائر. الشكر موصول لزميلي سفيان هني ولكل الزملاء في الإدارة التقنية الذين نقلوا لكم الصورة اليوم، الصورة عن قرب تقدموا للزميل المخرج حاج احمد. شكرا لكم على المتابعة وعلى هذه الصور.